Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. How is everybody doing? I hope the day is amazing so far. It's 9 a.m. on the East Coast, 9:03 to be exact. And so you know what time it is. It is time for LinkedIn Live with Nana. I'm about to get some theme music. That might be something for 2023. No, we'll put a pin in that. Um, but Y'all know the drill. If you are catching this live, say hello in the comments. Um, drop a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're catching this on the replay, definitely drop in the comments and say hello and say replay and let me know that you're watching. Because today's conversation is all about what's holding you back. Hey, Tiffany, come on. Yes, finally caught you live. What's good? Um, so today's conversation is all about this feeling, this notion that being understated is the way to go. And I want to talk about why that is holding you back. So there is Hey Portia, what's good? Thank you, thank you, thank you. The top is from Ghana. Um, there's this notion that when it comes to work, and and honestly, it's not just in the corporate space. It's really at a lot of different organizations, both in private industry and public industry. There's been this constant idea that you don't want to take up too much space. Like you want to be seen, but not too much. Right? Hi, senior. Good morning. There's always this like caveat. It's almost like when you're in the car and that jam comes on. Well, I mean, I'm probably dating myself now because I'm still of the age and we was in the car listening to the radio. But y'all feel me when your song comes on and you just want to turn the volume up, but it's like no, don't go too high because you don't want to be that person who's too loud. You got to just crank it down a bit, even though your natural nature, like part of who you are, especially just being a melanated person, hello, um, is to have this natural energy and this natural glow that, really resonates with a lot of people and makes you oftentimes a great people person, you know, like you are a person who has a lot of great relationships at work with different colleagues. You're able to cultivate community. Like these are natural things that are part of your essence and your talents and your skills, and just makes you magic, right? So why do we feel like we got to turn the volume down on that? Like, oh well, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, you know. I don't want to be too out there, too loud. I don't want to take the spotlight away from anybody else. Tiffany said, I just put a subwoofer in my car to blast my music. That's right. That's right. Um, but I feel like, I don't know about y'all, but I felt like that when I was working full time in my job. There were plenty of times where I was like, well, I don't want to steal the spotlight. Well, I don't want to be the person on the team who's getting too much attention. Like, just always so concerned with everybody else and how everybody else was feeling. And that's so draining. I don't know about y'all. It's so draining. What's up, Naima? How you doing? Right? like it can be so draining to constantly be thinking about how everybody else is feeling in relationship to you, to the point where you feel like if I shine too bright, I'm going to dim somebody else. Did you catch it? Pop that in the chat if you caught it. Because we just get so ingrained in feeling like our growth, our success is so dependent on other people's opinions, other people's perspectives, other people's impressions of who we are. And we get so attached to that. And so the fear monger, okay, Naima caught the message, okay? That fear monger starts setting in heavy. And you start feeling like if I start to command a little bit more attention, if folks at work start asking me for my opinion in the meetings, if certain VIP clients start requesting me for the projects, like, ooh, what are people going to think? Like, I want to do well and I want to succeed, right? There's that part of you that's like, yes, props to me. I'm doing my thing and I'm getting the recognition that I deserve. And then there's the other part of you that's like, well, I don't know if that's going to affect how people see me in the office and how that's going to affect my relationships. And oh, well, that other person was up for partner too, but they didn't get it. I got it. Like we almost care too much, especially as women. Like, we're such caring people. We always have to care about everybody. And then you start caring too much and you neglect yourself. And so you start giving so much energy to how other people think about you. And then you get into this space where you just slowly start feeling like, I need to just keep things a little status quo. I just need to fly kind of like under the radar. I actually think like that's the way to be successful, right? Okay, now he's talking about that imposter syndrome all the way, right? So a lot of times we'll be in spaces, it could be at work, it could be at home, it could be anywhere. And there's just this notion that you walk into spaces and you don't want to be seen too much. There's just always that caveat. You don't want too much attention, too many accolades. Like, for some reason, you have a cat. Like, you like, there's already this imaginary ceiling, right? Everybody calls it the glass ceiling, when we're talking about climbing whatever ladder of success is appropriate for you. And it's like you see it, right? You see the possibility, but for whatever reason, you're like, there's something there prohibiting me from going up higher. And it's like, that's false, right? Can we all be on the same page of that's false? Like, there is no ceiling. It's all an illusion. Go get whatever the hell you want to get. Boop, there it is, right? Like, go after whatever you desire. But if you do have that little voice inside of you that keeps saying, you're doing the most, you're doing too much, just chill. Like, what they gonna say about you? They're gonna have something. They gonna say you the angry Black woman. They're gonna say, "Oh, she's a little too loud in the space," right? They're gonna have all of this commentary about you, and it's that little voice that tunes in. Okay, when you tune into that station, that's when problems arise. Okay, that's when the problems set in, because all of a sudden you attach yourself to what I'm gonna call the status quo. You attach yourself to a way of being, a way of acting, a way of thinking, a way of showing up that could potentially be just like everybody else who's mediocre. How about that? Everybody else who is mediocre. Okay? So the question really is, why is it that there's this idea that I need to be understated, right? I need to kind of blend in. I need to be really being a team player means that I just operate on the same wavelength of everybody else. Like there's just, I mean, I don't know about y'all. Like I'm saying, I was reflecting a lot about my experiences working in the corporate space, just, working with different team members, working with different folks in leadership positions. Especially a lot of times when I was working with a lot of men, a lot of older men. Okay. Tiffany know what I'm talking about. She said, let's go get it in that mediocre. Okay. As Black women, far too often, we have heard the notion of that mediocre white man at work. I would just say it. Okay. You know, Bob. Sorry, all the Bobs in the world. But there is just something about that element of looking at somebody who is given just the bare minimum, bare minimum. That's just how they operate. That's their wavelength. That's their frequency. That's just how they show up. Okay. And you knowing that you are not supposed to, you are not required to, it is not your job or duty to operate at the same level as these mediocre white men. Okay? Dr. Michelle said playing small when who you are is more than folks imagine. Dr. Michelle got a word for y'all in the comments. Okay? And she talking about Tim, Naima talking about Bob. Okay, Tiffany said, come on, let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth today. Right? Like there's a lot of mediocrity that's out there. And if you feel like you have to be on that same page to have success in your career, you are sorely mistaken. Dr. Michelle said, but we were designed differently. Come on, talk about that. There's something I was saying at the top of this live, there's just something about you that has a natural light. We all have it. But there is something I think very pivotal that happens when you really start to get in tune with what you bring into the world, what's unique and special about you. Sometimes the compliments and the things that people tell you often that you're not even aware of sometimes. Okay? I love it. Chat popping, right? Portia, Dr. Michelle coming with the word. I love it. Mediocre is stifling. Tiffany says, I used to be the only Black girl in meetings with mediocre old white IT execs, and it could be terrifying, but we got to show up proud and confident. Come through. Yes. And it's often that experience, Tiffany, because I had the same thing. I was one of the onlys, same deal, with a lot of older white male managers, partners, etc., clients, right? And Portia said a mediocre white man is ruining Twitter right now. Boop, boop. That's the true story. But that situation when you're one of the only Black women, or one of the only brown women or women of color in a space, That experience alone can undermine your confidence so much. That can hold you back because the representation is not there. You don't see yourself in other people at your company, on your team, in your organization, right? And oftentimes when we don't see ourselves, we don't believe in ourselves. Okay? So when you can't see yourself represented, as a leader, as a CEO, as a director, as a partner, when you can't see yourself represented, you start to immediately think, I don't belong here. This isn't the space for me. Like, what am I doing? Or sometimes then it's like everything's on my shoulders. I gotta carry it because I'm the flagship. I'm the first, right? And then everything that you do sets a precedent for everybody else who's coming up behind you. And so these spaces, just so many experiences for Black and Brown women in the workplace, contribute so much to you making a really pivotal decision around how you're going to show up. And are you going to decide that I'm going to keep it as status quo and just be understated, play small, keep it safe, keep it predictable? Or am I going to lean all the way in, be the person that I was designed to be, okay, Dr. Michelle, right? Be that person with all the special gifts and talents and put it all out there. That's a really important decision, and it is a choice, and it does have consequences depending on what environment that you might be in, but it's a really important decision for you to make internally for yourself. And I'm telling you, please, I don't know what pill it was in the matrix that he took that put him in the matrix, but go and lean in to being yourself. Lean into showing people who you are, putting more of your true self out there. It's going to bring you a lot more clarity. It's going to boost your confidence. And it is going to result in the kind of impact that you actually desire. Okay? Tiffany said, but when you bring the confidence to show up the right way, man, oh man, now old white men love me. Listen, that's the kind of change and shift that can happen because people can tell when you're not showing up like yourself. Like it's just like energy attracts like energy. So do I want to be surrounded by mediocre people or do I want to be surrounded by people who are killing the game? Duh, easy answer, right? Yeah, that first energy is very challenging, right? When you're in a space and you're one of the only. It can take you out. It really can, you know? But then you like again, you do have those choices where you're like, okay, so what precedent am I going to set right now? How am I going to be in this space? What kind of space do I want to create for others coming in behind me, right? And then you do the best you can. Okay? You got to kind of release the pressure and do the best you can. But what's really important, especially if you're one of the first, is making sure that you set the precedent for an environment where other people who look like you can bring their full selves to the table. Bottom line. Because if somebody sees you doing big and small things to validate that it is okay to be Black in this space, it's okay to be a woman of color in this space, it is okay for you to be communicative, be boisterous, have an opinion, be strong and like strong-willed in your opinions, right? Like all of these elements. It's okay for you to be vulnerable. It's okay for you to not have the answer, right? It's okay to have all of these different facets of you. When you put more of that out there, people really do respect that. People respect vulnerability, people respect authenticity, people respect confidence. They respect these things. And truth be told, a lot of people just really desire these things. And so when they see you doing it, they're like, okay, I think I can do it too. Right? Exactly, Dr. Michelle. Even Bob and Tim know when you are not showing up authentically, right? Um, and Naima said, when our presence commands respect, people feel it. 1000%. It's an energy exchange. This is an energy exchange. You're whatever line of work that you do, whatever line of work that you're in is about people. You're in the business of people. Okay? You're in the business of people and relationships. No matter what line of work that you're in. Okay? You could be excellent at your craft, your trade, whatever your area of expertise is. At the end of the day, you can't do it alone. So you have to find that space where you feel like you can bring an element of yourself and more elements of yourself that are going to support you in achieving whatever goals you've set and in just feeling good. Because that notion of feeling good about yourself, it's simple, but it is so powerful. It is a game changer when as a black woman you're able to enter a space that might be predominantly white, that once intimidated you, and then you enter that space again and you dominate. Right? When Bob and Tim are walking up to you after your presentation, your speech, the question you asked on a panel, whatever it might be, when you brought yourself fully there, or you simply entered into the space dressed as authentically as you, and people felt your essence and your energy. And people are climbing over chairs trying to talk to you. People are saying, man, I really love that perspective that you offered. Because people see you. They start to see the real you. They get a glimpse and they love it. They want more. Okay? Like that's the power of what can happen when you really tap in to understanding what kind of presence you want to have. Okay? And not letting this notion of the status quo and being safe and predictable, not letting that false narrative eat away at you and make you feel like you got to do and be somebody completely different. So allow yourself to expand, bust open mediocre land. Okay? Chop that sucker up and throw it out the window. Because if there's nothing mediocre about you, why would you want to show up in an understated way? Doesn't make sense. So as you start to think about that in relation to, of course, your style and your wardrobe, because that's just another extension of you and how you show up. That's an expression of your confidence. That's an expression of your authenticity. You want to ask yourself, are you showing up with your wardrobe in a way that's understated? Or are you showing up in a way that's really powerful? And so a lot of times when I'm talking to different women in the workplace, sometimes a common notion that I hear is, one, there's always this element of permission. Like, can I wear this? Is this okay? Two, there's an element of, I'm not showing up the way that I actually desire to. My clothes, my wardrobe, it doesn't feel like me. 3, you really are being very safe, very predictable, and very basic when it comes to what you wear. You really go for safe and you really want to stick to the status quo of what professional looks like in the workplace. You're afraid to do something different, but it's almost counter to what you desire. Not even almost, it is counter to what you desire because you know that your closet doesn't reflect who you are. And typically that's the reason why we get on the discovery call in the first place, or the reason why you reach out to me in the first place, is because you're looking at your wardrobe and you're saying, none of these clothes reflect who I am. When I'm getting dressed, I'm putting the same things on, and nothing's inspiring me. Nothing's lifting me up. It's just like, wake up, wash your face, brush your teeth, put the clothes on, have some coffee, get out the door, right? Like, that's a really mundane routine, Where's some joy? Where's some energy? Where's some pizzazz? Where's some funk? Like, can we? Because are you mediocre? That sounds like mediocre white man morning routine. That sounds so mediocre. You know what I'm saying? Just completely flat. Very flat. Okay? The comment choir is with me, okay? I'm getting some yeses and some rights, okay? So that feeling of just being flat, right? Being flat, that's an energy. That's an impression. And really, it's just a lack of confidence. Okay? So you're here just, it's flat. Everything that's in your closet feels so flat. And that's often because you have an overflow of basics, an overflow of neutral colors, right? You have an overflow of the same old outfit formulas that you wear. So when we talk about, the basics in your closet, right? We're talking about that white button down shirt, those navy pants, okay? Those flesh tone flats, the black flats, that single buttoned khaki blazer, the gray suit. Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? If I literally just broke down your wardrobe, drop that's me in the comments. Right? Like you can have this overflow of some just like mediocre-ish. Okay? And and the thing about it is that may have served you for a certain space and place in your life. But once you start to dig a little deeper and tap up into your talents and your magic, once the black girl magic start getting real strong and bright, like you can't dim that. You can't be out here like a rock star and then show up in a gray suit that you've had for 10 years. It doesn't equate. People are like, "Oh, okay. I've seen that before. That's that's pretty bland. That's that's pretty typical. Like, yeah, I hadn't expected that." I don't want to ever walk into spaces and people are just like, meh. Like that's their reaction to me. Eh. When they see me, it's a flat line. No, I need pulse. Y'all know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You want to see poop, poop, Boop, boop. You want to elicit some energy. You want to feel some energy. You want to like that's an exchange. That's communicating, right? Those are just non-verbal communication cues that you are having with people because you're meeting people all the time. And meeting people does not mean that you need to see them eye to eye, have a 20-minute conversation, shake hands, and say, let's make an appointment to connect next week. That is not what every meeting looks like. Every time you show up on a Zoom call, you're meeting people. Anytime you go to a conference, you're meeting people. You're sitting in an audience looking at a panel, you're meeting people. You're presenting on stage, you're meeting people. Anytime you have the opportunity to engage with someone, you are meeting them and they are meeting you. But the thing is, you always think that the meeting starts when things get verbal. The meeting don't start then. The meeting starts with the eyes. The meeting starts with the eyes. I like that. Okay? The meeting starts with the eyes because people see you first. And then they start to think about who you are. And they're either intrigued or disinterested. I'm going to let that just sit for a second. When people see you, they are either intrigued or disinterested. Come on, just through it, catch it. So as you're really giving thought to how you are showing up, you really want to take into consideration these elements, and that's the space that you want to think about when you're looking at your style. Okay, that's the space. Tiffany said, now you're talking my language, girl. Body language is a skill. Come on, tell the people. I know you know 100%. Right? People are watching you all the time. They're looking at what you're wearing. They're looking at your body language, looking at your shoulder positions. Do you shift a lot? Do you, play with your fingernails? Do you smack your lips? Do you smack your teeth? Do you twirl your hair? All the things that indicate to somebody, am I intrigued or am I disinterested? Okay, Senior said, I know that I have missed a whole lot because I'm in a meeting. That's okay, Senior. That's what the replay is for. Okay. Yeah, Tiffany, that meeting starts when you lock eyes across the room. Okay. That's an invitation. You're extending invitations to people all the time. And sometimes the invitations are accepted and sometimes they are denied. Okay. And I guarantee that if you are living in that space of mediocrity with your closet, and keeping everything super, super basic, super, super neutral, that you're missing out. That there are some invitations that you're afraid to send because you don't even feel like you're worthy of having that interaction with that person. Or there's invitations that you've sent to people and they haven't accepted. Because when they see you, they're not intrigued, they're disinterested. So what's really important is for you to recognize that the status quo ain't it. We disrupting that whole situation. So this status quo of gray, black, navy, all throughout your closet, sis, you gotta disrupt that. You are missing out. You are missing it. You are missing it. You are going to just blend into the background with all the other mediocre folks. Nobody's going to be inviting you to a thing. Okay? You're going to miss out on relationships, miss out on opportunities, promotions, partnerships. The list goes on and on. The money, you're missing out. You're missing out because nobody sees anything special about you. They don't get any punch. They don't get any oomph. You don't elicit a reaction. You don't draw them in. You're just flat. Portia said, listen, Nana is speaking of words. So many recruiters have complimented my looks at Afrotech, and they're remembering me when they see me later. Boom. That's how you make an impression. You want to be memorable. How are you going to do that? Because to be memorable isn't just about, oh, did I say all the right things? Did I make eye contact when I spoke with them? You have to be memorable in your look. You got to make a statement. You have to make a statement. And that's really a non-negotiable when it comes to your presence, especially if you are a thought leader, if you're in a management or leadership position, like if you're the CEO of your own company, it's non-negotiable for you to show up and not make a statement. Why? Because you need to be memorable. Portia's at Afrotech. This is a huge national conference. What? I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands of people at Afrotech or tens of thousands of people at Afrotech, but there are, listen, this is a sea of magical Black people running around at Afrotech right now. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to be someone who makes an impression so that when you follow up with that individual next week, they remember who you are? They spoke to hundreds of people in a week, maybe thousands. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to leave that imprint that makes them say, no, we definitely need to have that person back for a second interview? You know, that's something that is very strategic. And you don't want to leave it up to chance. And it's not just about being able to run down your impact, your value, your resume, right? It's not just those elements. You really have to think about everything in its totality. Okay? And so we talk a lot about, as a style and image expert, we talk a lot about the ABCs of image: your appearance, your behavior, your communications, right? And we talk about the importance of having all of these in tow. And really, it's the ABCDs of image because we added digital presence because of the reality of our environment, right? How do you make an impact with your LinkedIn profile picture? How do you make an impact with your website? Right? People are always seeing you, always watching you. People are always being invited into your world. What does it look like when you show up? What does it look like when you open the door? Again, are they going to be intrigued or are they going to be disinterested? Portia said 10,000 people. The expo hall is busting and recruiters remember me, but Nana knows I was working on these looks. Portia was focused on her looks because she said, listen, I want to make sure that people remember me. And she had a very specific goal of people that she wanted to connect with. And I know she's going to accomplish that goal. Tiffany said, I cut my hair to stand out because I'm too lazy to deal with hair. But it's funny because I get so much more positive attention now than when my hair was down my back. You are speaking the truth. Listen, when you cut your hair, that's going to be a whole other separate live around hair and how hair can transform your presence in a second, especially when you cut your hair, because then all the attention is on your face. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. And people see you. They see your skin. They see your eyes. They see your smile. It draws them in. So shout out to the short hair crew, but it's really important for you to shift from that space of your closet having this overflow of a bunch of basic pieces and neutral colors and really tap into, how do I make a statement? How can I be memorable? And there are very specific things that you can do to bring that into your space and bring that into your wardrobe so that you can exude the kind of energy, exude the presence, right? Send the invitations, meet the people that you desire, make those kinds of connections, right? And do it from a place of power and conviction, you know? And so for me, I wanted to give y'all a little sneak peek of something that I'm going to be launching next week for Black Friday and all the wonderful holiday sales and things. But there is a new program that I'm launching called Statement Style. And it is just what it sounds like. It is all about helping you to have more conversation starting pieces, more memorable style, so that you have less basics and make more statements with your wardrobe. Because that's the name of the game. That's how you're gonna win. That's how you're gonna feel success, and that's how you're gonna feel amazingly good. All right. And so this program is really designed for that person who just looks in their closet and sees the sea of black and gray and navy and just know they have been conditioned for the workplace traditional status quo of getting dressed. Okay. You know, there's some white man mediocrity in your closet. Let's just say it. Let's just call it what it is. Okay. Right. And you continuously put on the same outfit combinations every time you know you have that presentation. You pull out that trusty navy blue suit. You know, every time there's a team meeting, you're like, oh, wear those black pants and that blouse. Like, you go to the same things. You're working from home. You like, wear my Lululemon leggings and my sweatshirt from college. Like, you wear the same thing. And it's just not moving the needle. It's just not getting you any closer to what you desire. So it's time to shift it all up and really start to help you invest in more statement making pieces. So I'll be doing some personal shopping for you to help you get 10 statement making pieces into your wardrobe. And then I'll also be creating your 20 outfit lookbook. All right. And this lookbook is going to be all about statement making looks. We're talking about the looks that are going to invite conversation, that's going to turn heads, that's going to get you the compliments. These are the kind of looks that we talking about. All right. And so you'll have access to your own virtual closet tool. It's called Hue and Stripe. And that's the space where I'll be doing shopping for you and creating looks to put together your statement making style. And this program is really designed too for the woman who doesn't have a lot of time. Um, it's I've realized in a lot of conversations with different women that, you know, we're all busy, right? And sometimes we want so much and we want it like this. And sometimes it can take time, but sometimes it can also be something that can have an immediate solution. Um, and so I realized with some of the women that I work with, you know, this program for this woman, it's not for the woman who wants to learn everything. It's not for the woman who's like, teach me now how to dress for myself. This is really for the woman who's like, yes, my closet is bland. It is mediocre. I have too many basics, not enough statements. I'm not having enough conversations. I do not have enough conversation starting pieces in my closet. Help. And you do it for me because I don't have the time. This is for that woman. This is the solution for that woman because this solution is quick. We meet once on a call. We create a style profile for you, you know, understanding your style preferences, your likes, your dislikes, your sizes, creating a mood board for you, just giving you a really great visual story around what your style is. I put that together for you based on our call. And then you take pictures of your basics. You're like, okay, Nana, here's my basic white shirt, dark denim jeans, that khaki blazer, Here's the black suit I wear all the time. You upload the pictures of your basics to your virtual closet, and then that's it. You're done. I take over and I do shopping for you, create your lookbook. You receive the deliveries at your home, you try things on. I virtually consult with you and give you styling tips via text message, and we make it happen, okay? So you're hitting me up Tuesday morning, you've got that pitch to the board. You're like, all right, now I pulled out my lookbook. This is the outfit I put together. How's it looking? I'm like, it's dope. What I want you to do, just fold that cuff here, really make sure the lapel lays flat, flip that brooch around, make sure it's straight. I'm going to give you those kinds of tips because I want you to be all the way on point. All right. So, you having text message access to me, a style expert at your fingertips, is also going to make sure that you are all the way on point when you show up. Okay. So, Portia said, First of all, I can hear Portia saying this. The program is going to change lives. Portia, I have to drop a great talk. Y'all listen to Nana, join her program because I'm experiencing the results that she's talking about right now. Go ahead and be great at Afro Tech, right? Yes, Nahima, that digital presence. I know you know about it, okay? All day. If y'all need website design help, go see Nahima. So as you really are in a space where you're looking at your closet and you're feeling like things are super basic, statement making style might be a great solution for you to get some pieces, get some outfit ideas to just level the whole situation up. All right. So if you're like, okay, I'm intrigued, make sure you drop in the comments, pop a me in the comments. And I will send you some early bird information about statement making style. Or, as always, feel free to pop in a DM, send me a message if you have any questions about the program or anything I shared. But if you're interested, or if you're intrigued about statement making style, let me know, and I'm happy to share some information with you before we officially launch next week for Black Friday. Okay. All right, y'all. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, definitely in the comments, let me know one of your major takeaways from our conversation today. The comment chat situation was popping, gems were being dropped. So make sure you go and read those comments if you're catching this on the replay, because there was some good stuff in there. And I hope y'all have a fabulous rest of the day. And I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for LinkedIn Live with Nana.